A few weeks ago, I was participating as a speaker in the Kingdom Writers Conference, and I was paying attention during the kickoff event to the comments. And one of the attending aspiring authors made the comment that she was going to finish writing her book before she ever thought about marketing. And if you have been listening to me for any amount of time, you know that I took that as a kick in the gut. I was like, "No, don't wait until you are published to begin in marketing, because when you do that, you lose out on a lot of momentum and a lot of initial sales." You first have to determine what kind of an author you are. If you are a hobbyist author, that you just want to write a book to say that you've written a book and check it off your bucket list, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In that case, marketing isn't going to be something that you need to be concerned about. Another segment of the population are those who want to create a book to document their life experiences and values and beliefs, like a lot of my bespoke legacy clients that hire me to help them do that. And they literally just want to provide this book to their family and close friends. They do not want it available on Amazon. They do not want it in bookstores. And that's fine too. They know their purpose for writing their book. And again, in that case, marketing isn't necessary. But today's episode is all about the majority of writers. And if you are listening to the Ink and Impact podcast right now, you are here because you most likely want to reach as many people as you can with the message God has given you. That is the desire of your heart, is to make an impact for the kingdom. And to do that, you need to get your book finished and into the hands of readers through marketing. Okay? And like I said, you don't want to wait until your book is already done. Now, if you're listening to this as a published author, you already have a book completed and you're trying to sell it, this episode is still going to be for you, because what I'm going to share will still apply, but in different ways. And I'm going to differentiate between them as I go on, but keep listening because there is still value in today's episode for you. So what exactly am I going to share today? I'm going to share 3 things, just 3, that you need to focus on, especially before you publish your book. I also want to take a moment to make sure that you have an opportunity to learn about my new Christian Authors in Action program, which I launched last week in the Indie Author Bootcamp. And so although you can't participate in the Indie Author Bootcamp anymore, it's already over. It was a 5-day event. You can still take advantage of joining the Christian Authors in Action program. And if you act really quickly before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, you can take advantage of founding member pricing for the program. All right. You can still join if you're listening after that date. Absolutely can join. It's an ongoing program. Anybody can join at any time. It will just be a little bit more expensive. I was giving a really deep discount for those founding members. So, what is the Christian Authors in Action? It is for people who want to make real progress on their book, grow in their faith, and make a lasting impact on the world. Being a Christian isn't supposed to be a passive title. The Bible tells us, Jesus told us to go. The Bible tells us repeatedly to put in the work, to do the work. We are not to be passive aspiring authors. We are to do the work and become published authors. And in this case, I help people self-publish. I help indie authors, okay? We are called to do the work set before us and proclaim the gospel of Christ to the world, to our particular audience. So If you are tired of simply taking more courses and attending webinars ad nauseum, if you're ready to get into a writing routine, if you're determined to overcome your fears, whatever they may be, we all have them. They just might be different for different people. If you're looking for an engaged community of fellow Christian writers of all ages and stages, if you're searching for a place to get real-time answers to your questions, and if you're ready to heed your calling as a writer instead of skirting around it, then you'll want to join Christian Authors in Action, and I encourage you to do that today. Inside Christian Authors in Action, you are going to get access to the weekly Inkwell writing sessions, the monthly author marketing lab, the monthly master classes, and bi-weekly live Q&A sessions with me, all right? So all of this for the price of about one latte at a coffee shop a week. This is really super affordable because I want each and every one of you listening to be able to get the encouragement, but more than that, the support you need to really make traction in your writing journey. This year, right now, starting right now, you can make real traction, okay? If you're tired of going in circles, if you're trying to figure it out on your own, if you are really frustrated and ready to throw in the towel, please don't. Please come click the link in the show notes, take a look at what all you get inside Christian Authors in Action, and join. Give it a try. There are no long-term contracts, no long-term commitments. You can just join month to month if you want. There's also an annual plan for an additional 20% discount. So just give it a try. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and I hope to see you on the inside. All right, now it's time to dive into today's topic of today's episode. I'm going to share the top 3 things that you should focus on before your book is published so you can ultimately sell more books, which is what we want to do. Now, as I mentioned before, if you've already published your book, keep listening. They're going to still apply to you. So the first thing that you want to do, that you want to focus on, is to become visible as an author. You want to cast a wide net and tell everyone, not in a spammy way, not in an offensive way, but tell everyone that you are writing a book. When you meet people, almost inevitably they ask, what do you do or what are you working on? And you can say, I am an author. I am writing a book on such and such topic. And then if they show interest, keep talking about it. If they close down, stop talking about it, but at least they know that you are writing. And that seed has been planted in their mind so that when they are talking to other people, they can think back, oh, I just met so-and-so who is writing a book on such and such, and they might be able to connect you. You just never know how God is going to work those connections and where he's going to grow those seeds, right? You want to tell everybody online and in person, okay? You also want to gain confidence as you're talking about your book, because I know a number of people are like, I call myself an author if I'm not published yet. And I have, within the last couple of years, changed my stance on that. So I used to be an ardent supporter of you're only an author once you're published. You're a writer before that. But I have come to the conclusion, after having coached many people through the writing process, that whenever you are committed to writing a book, whenever you are taking consistent action toward writing that book and finishing it, then you are indeed an author because you are doing the work necessary. Okay? So rest confidently in that you are an author, and tell other people about your book. You are writing it because God has given you unique experiences or wisdom, some kind of knowledge, some kind of solution that people need. You are going to provide them with what they need. So be confident in that. Also, to become visible before you are published, you're going to want to either start guesting on other people's blogs. While you can't promote a book that isn't published yet, you can promote your message, and you can encourage them to follow along with you if you're on social, or get on your email list, or both. And you can also, if you aren't yet comfortable going out and talking to other people on their podcasts, although I encourage it, do your own blog, right? Keep it in line with what you're writing about. If you're writing nonfiction, make sure it relates to the topic that you're writing about. If you're writing fiction, again, keep it in that theme. Share behind the scenes of your writing journey on your blog. Share recommended readings of other books, right? Form that camaraderie with other authors by recommending their books, okay? There are all kinds of things that you can do on your blog, and that's worth another episode all of its own. But just know that's one way that you can become visible as an author before your book is published. If you've already published, I'm going to add one little nugget here under this topic of becoming visible. And that is, if you are published, you have a book in hand, then do PR. Send out press releases. Yes, to the media, especially local media, local radio stations, television stations, newspapers, magazines, local journals, whatever medium reaches your target audience, your ideal readers. Go ahead and send a press release to those people, okay? I don't recommend doing press releases until you actually have your book in hand, all right? Number 2 thing that you want to focus on, even before you're published, is to build a thriving launch team. It's never too early to start thinking about who you can get on your launch team. Because as you're writing your book, I'm a big proponent of already having a deadline in mind, right? So as you near that deadline, you want to know who's going to help promote my book, who's going to help launch it into the world and tell other people about my book whenever it first publishes, especially that first week. Okay. So how can you build a thriving launch team? Well, you're going to want to obviously connect with potential readers. Go where they hang out. Go to bookstores. Get to know the regulars who go in there. Get to know the bookstore owners. Your local bookstore owner might be a great person to get on your launch team if they like to read your genre. Only ask them if you have a rapport established and they like your genre. Also, if you aren't familiar with Goodreads, get on Goodreads. That is a fantastic place to find launch team members because that's where readers go. A lot of readers are hanging out on Goodreads, so don't overlook them. Go to goodreads.com. Also, under building a thriving launch team is you're going to want to build a robust email list. We want to build a robust email list of as many people as possible. Okay? Continually adding people to our email list so that as we get close to publication time, we can reach out to our email list, those people that we've nurtured, we've become known by them, known to them. They understand our heart. They have come to consider us maybe a friend, right? They respect us and what we're doing. And then we reach out and say, hey, would you like to be part of my launch team? Will everyone join your launch team? No, which is why you need as many people as possible on your email list and in your personal connections in person and online to get those people who will have the time to do the things that you are going to ask them to do during a launch. And again, that is worth another whole episode on its own, how to run a launch. But just know that you want to have as many people as possible on your launch team. I know that some traditional publishers like their authors to have 150 people on their launch team. That's probably not feasible for most indie authors, but get as many people as you can. You don't just want 3 people on your launch team. 3 is better than none, don't get me wrong, but the more the merrier. The more people talking about your book, the more opportunity it has to reach additional readers, and you can sell more books. Now, if you're already published, consider relaunching an existing book. Maybe your sales have slowed, and maybe you published a year or 2 ago. Relaunch it. Get a launch team together and relaunch it. There's nothing wrong with that. Or if you have a book that's even older, or maybe you realize, oh, I should have included several other things, or maybe there's updated statistics or research out there that you can include, then maybe do a revised edition, right? Or even an updated edition and republish and have a launch team for that. The third topic that I want to talk about today is make sure that you create a book worth buying. Okay. So with the first one, we were casting a wide net and telling everyone that we're an author. With building a thriving launch team, we're becoming more focused and we're building community, right? And now we are wanting to make sure that we're creating a really high quality book by partnering with certain individuals. Now, who am I talking about? This could be research people. So if you are writing a nonfiction book that's heavy in research, who have been the people that have helped you with that research, whether it's at museums or it's some kind of legal or medical book that you're writing. And so certain people you've contacted for research, you might consider if they provide really great insights and they mention something that you thought, oh, that would make a great quote in my book, ask permission if you can include that in your book. They would probably be honored in most cases. And as a side benefit, if they are mentioned in your book, they might be more prone to buy your book and recommend it to others. Now, that's not the reason to include them in your book, only if they provide real value, if you really like that insight, that wisdom that they shared. But it could be a win-win for both of you. Another type of publishing partner is a critique group. A critique group is really important as you're writing to make sure that you are creating a book worth buying, because they're going to be reading the manuscript as you're writing it and providing real-time feedback of, does this make sense? Where are you going with this? Really helping you create great content. And then the next group that you're wanting to run your manuscript through is beta readers. So after you finish that first messy, rough draft, then it's time for beta readers. What does an average reader think? You don't want a whole bunch of people, just 2 or 3, to give their honest feedback. Did this make sense? What questions do you have? That kind of thing. Then you go back to your manuscript. You make adjustments as you deem necessary. You don't have to make every change that they suggest. But when there are similarities between those 2 and 3 people on something that they all have questions about, that's something that you want to pay attention to and massage the manuscript. Then professional editor, professional designer. They're 2 really key parts of your publishing partnerships. And then if you have already published and you're looking back and you're like, this book that I published maybe 5 years ago, the cover doesn't really match what's selling in the genre these days, reach out to a designer, get a new cover, and republish. It's never too late to revise, modify, and create new relationships. So there you have it. The top 3 ways to improve your book sales, even before it's published, are to become visible as an author, build a thriving launch team, and create a book worth buying. So if you found this episode helpful, which I hope that you have, be sure to subscribe so that you get notified of future episodes. And please consider leaving me an honest review. I'm not going to demand a 5-star review or anything like that. I want an honest review so I can see how I can improve and also what kind of things that you like about the podcast so I can continue doing those. And also, don't forget to join Christian Authors in Action at the founding member rate until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday, May 31st, 2025. I will see you on the inside. Take care. God bless.